I warmly welcome you all on this webinar on building climate smart on harvest systems. Thank you all for joining us today. My name is changemakers. I'm part of SELCO Foundation since the last 5 years. I work closely with enterprise across the country. So to begin with, let me quickly walk you through the flow of the session. First, we'll begin by setting the context of why SELCO Foundation has launched these programs and how it fits to our larger mission. And second, we will walk you through the application process, key eligibility criteria, the support that we offer from this initiative and effectives, and then we'll conclude the session with hearing from few of the enterprises that we have supported from earlier programs and they share their experience, challenges, and key learnings over the past few years. Meanwhile, if you have any questions, please feel free to drop your questions in the chat box where we will be responding at the end of this webinar. Having said that, I would like to take you through briefly highlight about SELCO Foundation's our mission initiative and approach. The heart of our work is a very clear mission, is to alleviate poverty and fighting climate change through climate smart solutions, keeping the last mile community at the centerpiece. In SELCO Foundation, we see decentralized renewable energy not just a source of power or source of energy, but as a catalyst to improve the livelihood, healthcare, overall resilience for the underserved community. So, and our approach is building on the four key pillars, which is building ecosystem with farmers, cooperatives, local business, and stakeholders. For supporting enterprise to innovate and scale their solutions, encouraging decentralized innovations that's affordable and accessible for all, and promoting climate resilience with clean energy and resource-efficient technologies. Over the decades, SELCO Foundations, we support farmers and micro enterprises across the country, not only by providing specific tech solutions, but also by enabling access to finance, market linkages, and link them with an appropriate stakeholders who can support them, with an aim to strengthen the local ecosystems through some of our initiatives, such as our incubation programs, the enterprise development programs, Catalytics, and others initiatives across all the years. At SELCO Foundations, most of our work is revolve around community that depends on agriculture, and that's because agriculture has been truly the backbone of rural India, where nearly half of our workforce rely on it for their livelihood, and it feeds more than billions of people across the country. Like if you see, even during the time of pandemic, during COVID pandemic, agriculture sectors stood strong, providing stability, while most other sectors were struggling and crumbling during these times. So, but there is, the challenge here is while so many people are depending on agriculture, the income generated is still very low. Farmers work really hard, extremely hard, with the return they have is not really matching to the effort that they have put. So this gap is what SELCO Foundation we are trying to address by reducing poverty, by reducing drudgery, and introducing efficient technology or prepared technology to ensure farmers get a fair value of their hard work throughout the years. So while agriculture sustains nearly half of Indian workforce and keep food on their table, right? So the reality is that farmers often lose a significant share of what they grow once the harvest is done. For instance, I would like to share one of my experience when I traveled in the state of Mizoram, where 60% of the livelihood of the Mizoram depends on agriculture. Right? So I traveled to one of the clusters where they were like clusters of villages, around 5 clusters of villages were farming orange as one of the major source of income. So till farming is finally post harvesting, what they do is that they entirely depend on the middlemen from Silchar and other part of the country to come and collect their harvest, and then entirely and the challenge there is that post the harvest time, number one, if the middlemen don't come to collect their harvest, they entirely don't know where to sell their product, right? And mostly it goes for service laws, and and the other like the middlemen decide the price of the commodities So they don't even have any decision power on how much they will be, how much they would like to share. They only everything that they're scared of this year, there might be a year where middlemen will not come and will not be able to sell a good. All this can obviously lead 100% lead to a depending on middleman and post service laws, and also like this is some of the challenges with Mizoram especially. So we were like in intervention says like why don't we produce a cold storage or where they can keep their farm commodities after post harvest, and then also why not introduce some of the processing technology like solar dryers or the processing other processing technologies that would really help the farmers improve their income at the same time sustain their livelihood. And having said that, like every year India lost farm commodities worth nearly 14 billions of dollars simply because of poor storage, drying, and food processing. So for a small farmer, that translates to losing at least 15 to 20% of their hard-earned income. Imagine working for a month in the fields only to see quarters of their effort was in. Sorry. Imagine working in a field where the farmers putting most of their effort, they just have to see quarters of their effort just goes to waste. So with this challenge but however with this challenge lies a very powerful opportunities with the right intervention like solar dryers, solar cold storage, oil press machines, small farm millings, and farmers and local entrepreneurs can transform this loss into livelihood opportunities. Women, self-help groups, farmer cooperative, and micro entrepreneurs can build resilient business, enhance product quality, and tap in a new market. So this is the exact reason why SELCO Foundation post-harvest not just a problem, but to a program to be solved, but as a challenges to build resilience livelihood across the rural communities. Also, this is the foundation from which this initiative, Building Climate Smart Post-Harvest Systems, is initiated and bringing together innovators, enterprise, and ecosystem actors to take on one of the most critical challenges in agriculture, which is the post-harvest management. We say that coming to the initiative in detail, I would like to invite my colleague Jeshini to take this forward.
Thank you, Moy, for running us through the introduction and the context setting. Hello, everybody. My name is Jasmine. I've been working as a from past 2 years, working closely and looking at enterprise-centric programs. Recently, we have launched our initiative Building Climate Smart Post-Harvest Systems last week. So this initiative aims to work at the problem statements that have been specified in our previous slides in terms of processing and post-harvest technologies and in the agriculture values. The initiative is looking to work with the enterprises working on innovation and scaling of climate smart hardware or digital solutions, focusing on post-harvest management and food processing units. So the kind of support that revolves around this is like the primary, secondary support, primary, secondary, and tertiary processing technologies. In terms of that we can be used for the small farmers and the micro. So over over the years through our work with different enterprises, we have developed an understanding that these enterprises face systemic challenges that make it difficult to innovate, scale, and grow. Some of the challenges faced by the enterprises include resource mobilization, limited access to capital or capital, talent, and affordable technology. Mark, some of the problem statements include few testing facilities, weak feedbacks and loops, that less of product readiness, and fragmented markets and weak distribution and high adoption. In terms of scale enterprises, what we have observed is that enterprises who have proven a technology and are looking at and are looking to scale even face operational capacity and know how to for expansion of their product. The other thing that the other challenges faced by these enterprises include weak ecosystem linkages, high cost of empanelment, high cost of certifications, and slow regulatory processes for the technologies that they wish to scale and expand. These gaps have made us clear over the years that the initiative has made us clear that the problem statements that exist in the ecosystem need to be addressed specifically to unlock resources, partnerships, and climate smart expertise that can help these enterprises move from innovation to impact. Yeah. So in the initiative, we have categorized the technologies under three levels. Primarily, the initiative is designed to support a spectrum of post-harvest technology. Because we feel like the challenges and the opportunities in the post-harvest does not just exist at one stage. So at the primary level, wish to work with enterprises who are working to solve the technologies of immediate post-harvest at the farm gate, making the produce more storable, transportable, and ready for further processing. Some of the examples of this can be a grading or a cleaning machine, threshing machine, dehusking, or selling. At the secondary level, we wish to work with the enterprises who have been deeply involved with value addition and turning the raw material primary produce into a higher value or long-lasting consumable product. At the tertiary level, we would want to work with the enterprises who are working to prepare, who are working to increase, who are working to make modify the initial farmer grade produce to who ready to make food product that enhances its shelf life and can fetch a higher value for the rural enterprises who are working here. Some of these examples include jam and pickle making, bread biscuits, or snack making machines, or instant or ready to eat. Whether it's a produce that keeps your product safe after harvesting or adds value or creates ready-to-eat products, if the technology is reducing losses or strengthening incomes or is climate smart, this initiative is here to support. So the next thing that we would want to run you through is the gender eligibility criteria for those who want to apply. So the initiative is open to enterprise. So to ensure the same, we have laid down a few general criteria. First is that the enterprise must be registered and is looking at with a legal compliance document. Secondly, the enterprises or the application should be offering a hardware based or a digital innovation or solution that can be scaled, that can be energy efficient or green infrastructure related. Thirdly, the technology must focus on the post-harvest system and the food processing, whether it is primary, secondary, or tertiary. And lastly, that solution should aim for a long-term resilience during drudgery, reducing drudgery, improving productivity, and creating new streams of income for the farmers and the rural enterprises in the field. In short, we are looking for enterprises that are practical yet ambitious, rooted in post-harvest, hardware-led, committed to resilience in a climate-stressed future. Next thing. So the initiative has been the initiative offers like a state-specific support depending on the type of enterprise you are, whether it's an innovation stage or at the scaling stage. So we have categorized the enterprises as an innovator or an enterprise. The innovators are precisely who are piloting or with a proof who are piloting hardware-led or digital solutions which have proof of concept or are looking for piloting, testing, and MVP development and demonstrating impact. Enterprises are the ones who have already tested their solutions and are focused on scaling, building partnerships, and reaching more youth. Together put, We would want to support both early innovation and scale-ready solutions, which we feel like both are essential for building climate-smart post-carbon systems for for a resilient climate. So the support offered by the initiative is that we are providing state-specific support for those enterprises who are looking to innovate their product or build a new idea or scale a proven solution. The first line of support goes for deployment of these hard tech. So under that, for innovation, this means that we help with system integration, prototyping, building and refining an MVP, field testing, and designing and fabrication of the product. Secondly, with respect to an enterprise under scale, we wish to work with them for deployment of energy efficient or solar powered or integration of solar into the existing or supporting O&M. In terms of soft support, the initiative is looking for an innovator to offer in terms of demand validation study, market and user research, this is subject matters experts, internal capacity and building. Uh, for enterprises coming under scale, the support comes in the form of a scoping study, feasibility assessment, training and outreach materials, stakeholder engagement, expert consultation, participation, something that we would also wish to support. In short, the initiative doesn't provide funding, provides more technical and knowledge-based support tailored to where you are, tailored to make sure that you have a journey of your own. Uh, to apply for the initiative, we have rolled out a TOR in our SELCO Foundation website and it has been circulated in our social media website. To apply for the program, there is a clear process. There's a clear process that is mentioned in the TOR and the application form. So please open the TOR, go through the TOR, which is defining the eligibility criteria, the sectors that we wish to work with, the duration of the program, and the geography that is specified. Post that, please open the Google form, and then where we have listed down the set of questionnaires that in terms of the proposal that you wish to work with, whether it's under innovation scale or a stage, or it can be both. And post that, please submit your proposal and wait for us to get back to you with the results. So coming to the guidelines for your proposal, we are expecting you as an enterprise to have a proposal either as an innovator or as a scale or for both. So, under innovation, we wish to have these five outlined objectives in the proposal. Firstly, what kind of innovation is that you're looking at? Whether what is the core idea behind your solution, the problem that you're tackling, and the change that you would want to bring for the farmers or the micro enterprise. Secondly, the next is the prototype and the testing approach. We wish to understand prototyping and testing approach that you will use as a part of your innovation strategy and the support that you will need for testing, user feedback, financial modeling in that term. Third part is the regional focus and the rationale to understand the end user suitability of the technology and of the innovation itself. Uh, Next thing is that overall roadmap for an innovator from looking from an innovation point of view to refining it and preparing the solution for scale. Yeah. Uh, yeah. For an innovation, for enterprises who are already beyond prototyping and moving towards scale, we wish for a proposal that clearly shows what kind of technology that you have been tested and scaled, what kind of solution, what kind of impact does the technology create, what is the scale approach and the strategy that you will be following with the financial modeling and the timelines and the potential partnerships and the leverage that you're looking to build. The third thing that will be expected from you is a regional focus. Tell us the regions that you plan to expand into and explain the relevance of these regions, what can be strategically suited for scale. Fourth, Focusing on the stakeholder, user access and adoption, about how will you reach to the farmers, what kind of medium will you use to reach to the micro enterprises partners, or the mechanisms that you will put in place to support them. Lastly, it will be the monitoring and evaluation on how will you define what kind of evaluation metrics, monitoring approach, and the feedbacks that will be used to ensure impact-driven technological solutions for the ecosystem, for the farmers, for the micro. Coming to the timeline for the initiative is a plan for a total duration of 14 months. The first 2 months, that is September and October, will look at launching the application, calling for the application, and then evaluating them and signing agreements with selected enterprises. Overall program for the overall duration for the initiative will start from November 2025, based on the work plan sent by the enterprises looking to work with us for a minimum of 12 months and having having quarter-wise timelines and deliverables. Finally, in November 2026 is when the initiative will conclude with outcomes, learnings, and impact document for learnings and overall capturing. Before we close and get the enterprises to talk about their experiences, we thought we'll run you through some of the frequently asked questions. So starting with the initiative of the scope of the initiative and the eligibility criteria. So firstly, whether it's an award or a cash prize. So it's not an award or a cash prize. It's a very structured support for the enterprises, for the enterprise innovators looking for funding, mentorship, and net. Secondly, who can apply? The initiative is open to any enterprise working in India, working for a hardware, digital, IoT-based systems in the sector of post-harvest or food processing solutions, either at the scale stage or innovation. Thirdly, if you have been part of previous SELCO programs like EDP, Catalyze Tech programs, if you're still eligible, so all of you are still eligible as long as the proposal is fresh and does not overlap with the ongoing. Next set of question is around the initiative proposal and application. So firstly, on the financial model and the leverage part. So the financial model will depend case to case, state specific, depending on the maturity of the enterprises. Largely during the innovation phase, the enterprise's share of leverage might be little lesser, while in the scale phase, the large portion of leverage is expected from other stakeholders such as financial institutions, government, and NGOs. Secondly, what if my scale strategy does not list any government or financial partnership? Well, that's completely okay if it doesn't doesn't list any of these partnerships. You're still eligible to apply for the proposal as long as it aligns with the initiative scope of work. Thirdly, on the application bit, how do we apply and what documents must we have? All these details have been and the Google form has relevant questions that you will need to address to apply for the initiative. You will be asked to upload compliance-related documents such as GST, PAN card, government ID, and post that then you'll have to either upload an innovation proposal or a skills proposal or both of them, depending on what kind of code and work you wish to have with. And finally, what is expected out of proposal is a clear plan outlining your solutions, objectives with a resource, the strategy that you wish to take from either an innovation to scale or a scale model and financial model. Lastly, coming back to the initiative process of selection and evaluating the application. So the applicants will go through a 2 round of application of selection and evaluations from a jury. The jury will include experts across different domains such as technical, programmatical, and operational. Innovation proposals will be largely judged on the proof of concept, and scale proposals will be looked from a deployment ready. SELCO might run a due diligence checking as per the compliance documents and, if needed, past work done. Next, initiative support and structure. In terms of is the initiative only for installation? I think the initiative is precisely for the hardware technology, but in along with that, we would work with the enterprises for a lot of softer aspects, such as market demand, conducting research, creating training modules, conducting awareness orientations, applying for certification, applying for empanelment of technology. So it and integrating DRE into an existing systems, unlocking relevant schemes as well. Now, about the duration of the program, about the duration, the duration is split into two phases. The first is like an application phase, which is right now running from September to October, and then for the 12 months starting from November 2025 to 26, which is the duration. What kind of support other than the financial aspect will I expect is that you will be getting support in terms of technical expertise, partnerships, access to networks such as government departments, institutions, via SELCO's existing programs, and other additional related support. What if you don't meet the intended targets or the leverage number? In case of non-achievement, we might not, so the deliverables might be tied to a tranche-wise release. In case you're not able to sort of achieve the deliverables, we might actually like, there might be a repayment of the, we might just, the contract might just keep it held, and there might be changes in the work plan as such, cater to the needs. Yeah. So now we would like to invite one of our enterprise to talk about their experience in the with the CDP, how in the EDP initiative itself. So just calling the enterprise we want to call is Zenitech. So Zenitech is a solar dryer whom we have worked with in our previous programs such as ADP 1 and 3. Their focus is largely in Tamil Nadu, and they have been scaling solar dryers of different capacities such as 6 square feet, 24 square feet, 88 square feet. We just welcome Zenitech to just come on board for this. The name of just a slight changer while our enterprise Zenitech is sort of trying to connect. We just are calling Transform Technology Peter to just talk about their work with us in the innovation, particularly millet processing innovation. Peter, am I audible?
Yes. Am I?
Yes, you are.
Okay,
So
great.
can you run us through your experience working with Telco under Millet Mentor Innovation Program?
Okay, so initially we had, given a proposal to innovate or design a number of technologies that were requested from many of the people in the field who were working with the millets, who were processing and things like that. Um, so one of the items was the seed drill. So there was a lot of, a lot of loss from farmers in millet propagation and things like that. Labor is very expensive and very hard to find and things. Also, random seeding and things like that didn't allow for any mechanized weeding. So um, SELCO supported us to, work from the initial design, prototyping, and we are now at a stage where it's being field tested in Andhra Pradesh. With So in line with that, we have also worked on a single row weeder, lightweight, ergonomic, easy to maneuver and things, which allows a single farmer to weed, maybe up to 1 hectare or 1 acre a day is physically possible, but easily, 3 or 4 hours of weeding can be done by a single person. Um, so, sorry, 1 minute. I gotta. Sorry. Yes. So the weeder. So that both of the machines are EV. So they're able to be charged on solar. At present, we haven't designed the solar component for it. We're primarily been charging on electricity, but that's definitely a second phase once we optimize the machines from the feedback in the field and things like that. Then we in large scale drying of millets and things like that, the issue was that it took a lot of energy and labor to fill the bags once they're dried and things like that. So we worked on a simple innovation that allowed the farmer, a single farmer, to within minutes fill a bag of grain and things like that. A simple trolley. So there was no motor or anything involved in this. Maybe in future we will also, consider mechanizing some parts of it or something to make it more efficient and more ergonomic and things like that. But initially, the design was motorless. Then we worked on a color sorter. So basically, the color sorters that are generally used are quite large scale and require elevators and things like that, which is not really appropriate for the scale of technologies and the farmers that we generally work with. So, and what I mean, our focus is to work on technologies that enable millets to be processed in the fields, in the villages nearby where they're actually produced, not transported to a large mill in a city or something like that. No? So these are very small scale mills that may, do only a few hundred to maybe, maximum 1 ton per day of processing. So this color sorter is designed that it can do smaller quantities ergonomically and effectively, and can also do multiple commodities and things like that. So it suits much more to, a service model, a village model situation. Then, yes,
Yeah.
sorry.
Thank you for giving an overview about what you do. I think it's really inspiring to know how you have innovated the technology for a small scale farm. So just wanted to have like a follow-up question, like how do you think enterprises need to be supported during their innovation stage? terms of like funding, mentorships, or network? Could you just please tell us?
Okay. So, I think the most important thing is how to understand the end users um, feeling on the machines or the requirement, like many of the times innovations are sort of an observed sort of concept rather than a requirement request from an end user type thing, no? So I think getting feedback from potential end users into the technology that's proposed and understanding their requirements and their capacity also, like does it fit the scale that they require, uh, and even the economics of the machine and things like that. Would they, does it make sense for them to invest in something like that? So a lot of ground sort of understanding, I feel, is important. And then from there, getting the right components to create the machine, having access to the right components, like quality components, um, and the raw materials, the process for manufacturing. We, outsource our manufacturing because, we don't have CNC lathes or laser cutting and things like that. No, but these type of things ensure that the machine is, um, long lasting, is durable and quality and things like that. So I think, connecting innovators to these technology providers and services is very important.
Yeah, I think it completely makes sense that innovation should be centered around the problem statements from the ground. It should have a more feedback loop that feeds into better innovations, and proves that access to quality components for the farmers is quite essential. Just so thank you, Peter, for joining us. I would like to call auto physician Asad to talk about innovations that are currently in scale phase, and how do programs like EDP help to sort of support scale for the enterprise?
Yeah. Thank you so much, Jayaswini.
Yeah.
Am I audible? Yeah. Hello.
Yeah, you can. Yeah, you're audible, Asad. Yeah.
Yeah. So my name is Asad, and I'm the founder of Alto Precision. We make small-scale food processing equipment, and Selco has been a partner right from the beginning, right from the problem identification stage till where we are at now. We have done a total of about 150. I would say by the end of this year, it would be about 190 rice mills all over Tamil Nadu and Karnataka, mainly Tamil Nadu and not even Karnataka. So how essentially the EDP program has benefited us is, in order to sell to a rural entrepreneur or a specific market that you have identified, whatever is required is essentially what is asked by us for the program. I'll give you an example. For us to sell, so we recently have done about 10 rice mills with the support of NABARD Tamil Nadu, in partnership with NIFTIM. So in order for us to do that, we had to show a demo for to NABARD, which was supported by the program. After this, we had to get our entire equipment um, um, certified by ICAR, which was again supported by the program. And overall, when all these when the actual deployment happened, we had to there was a certain gap in financing. For example, PMFME had a cap of about 15 lakhs per FPO. Now that cap is around 30 lakhs. So, and our system was about 16, 17. Whatever the difference amount is what was bridged by SELCO Foundation. Overall, what I've noticed is that as long as your business is not dependent on gap financing and the overall business model is viable without any gap support, that is where SELCO Foundation would then say, okay, the only reason why this particular entrepreneur is not able to access this technology is because he does not have the ability to get the loan. So in those cases, we have received some gap financing. In terms of leverage, just on the hard deliverables, when we initially started with EDP1, we were at 60% gap finance and 40% was leverage. Today we are at almost 70% leverage and 30% gap finance, and because of NAB Kisan, we should be able to improve that by about 90% this time, where 90% would come through support, would come through through leverage, and then about 10 to 20%, 80 to 90 or 10 to 20% would be gap finance. So our strategy has always been to reduce the dependence on the overall hard support that the SELCO gives, and increase the leverage so that our ability to sustain is much better. So that's basically what we do. Any questions, you can feel free to ask me, or I can give my phone number and I can definitely help you all if required.
Thank you, Asad. I think a lot of them might have like a question on how were you able to sort of increase your leverage, like from starting from the initiative till today, because I think like in terms of scaling the product and in terms of like the cost of the product, leverage is an important bit that helps you to scale and enable those critical partnerships post which, like you're able to reach that super scale model where the ecosystem is so designed supportive to help you scale as an enterprise for the micro farmers and for communities like tribal communities. That's where you have been working. So could you just also tell us like how have you been able to unlock some government schemes through the EDP like program? Like one part is leverage, and what are some learnings that you would like to share from the
Right. The first and foremost thing is getting the customer on board. That's the first action that you do,
right,
and that is only done through demos, krishi melas, and demos. Uh,
right,
so once the customer is onboarded and he wants to purchase the product, after that, the second line would be to understand exactly how much, to understand the scheme that he would fit into. For example, if it's an FPO, it would fit into a very different scheme, or if it's an end user, it would fit into a different scheme, and then contact the local DRP of that particular of where the customer is based. The DRP then work with the DRP to apply for that particular scheme, and usually that's how it works. It is farmer driven, but you'll have to do the back end work. Essentially, the farmer applies for the PMFME scheme, not you, but you'll have to help him and just help him navigate the application. So that is the process of getting the leverage amount. You can use gap finance as an or a subsidy on the hard product as an incentive for the farmer to go for your product, and that's essentially how you unlock these schemes. It's a fairly straightforward method right now, thanks to the now government procedures. It's a complete online application. Anybody can do it. You don't need to hire anyone external. Even the DRP numbers are available on the website itself. So
yeah.
that's usually how it's done.
Okay. Thank you, Asad. So if anybody wants to reach out to Auto Precision or Asad, I think we'll just put their email ID in our chat box. I think you guys can directly reach out to see maybe if you would want to understand more about the process of scale of unlocking partnerships. I hope, I think that, thank you so much for joining us. We would like to call Zenitech next to talk about their enterprise journey with SELCO Foundation.
Yeah, very good evening, one of all present here. So, myself, Kumaresan from Genitech. Is it audible? Hello?
So you're audible.
Yeah, right.
Yes.
So, basically, our background is like we used to do like a concentrating system for the industrial processing heat for a steam and generation of hot air. So, like this. And later, like we are into the agriculture sector. So, in Tamil Nadu, you know that there is a agriculture engineering department is there. They are giving the subsidy for the solar dryer for the farmers. So we got an inquiry because now we are in being the solar thermal technology. So we got an inquiry for the solar dryer. So we have developed that few systems like a 400 square feet, 500 square feet design, and we put one system in Tamil Nadu. From there, we just started the solar dryer business. So after that, we approached the AED department. There is a gap of like we need to pay the amount for the empaneling. So from there only we will able to give the subsidy to the farmers. So there we are just got the trouble. So later we just come to know like a SELCO Foundation. So they are giving this leverages for this subsidy and all. So then we are just joined in EDP 2. From there we just join it and we are just started the solar dryer, but we are facing that the problem in for the big size farmers they used to want like a 400 500 like this big size solar dryer, but the small scale farmer they want to initially they want to start the business like small size is required, like starting from like a 6 square feet onwards like up to like a 200 square feet. So this is the gap we just found that. From there we EDP2 we used to design in different shapes and sizes and profiles. From there, we just standardize the solar dryer from right from small to up to like 2,500. Right now, we can able to do it. So right from 6 square feet to up to 2,500, we are designing the EDP2. So in the EDP2 itself, because we did the design and everything is ready, but how we can reach the market actually. So that we are facing the problem in EDP2 itself, because now EDP2 we basically used to do the direct marketing in our local zone in Tamil Nadu itself, Salem and Erode and Coimbatore. So this zone area, and we get it and we directly installed. But EDP3 when we started, we are facing the problem because now nearly we are committed like a 30 units for EDP 3 program. So we just think that we need to go for the digital marketing. So we run the Google Ads. What we did it in EDP2 program, so that we upload the videos and other thing. From there, now we are just reaching the customer actually. So from there, we need to explain like what is the, I mean, what exactly like farmer requirement. So based on this, we will explain the technical things. So these are the things. So we will freeze the sizes because now we having the sizes like a 6 square feet, 24 square feet and 100 square feet and up to like 2,500. From there now we will just categorize, and based on the like small scale farmers and some FPO and companies, so like this we can categorize it and we just give to them actually. So in this way we are easy to reach the people, because now direct marketing not helpful actually. Few cases it helpful because now some through the reference, if one installation done from there we are getting the reference, we are just get some order. Reaching like a multiple units. So in this social media is very helpful. Right now we are running like Facebook also and Instagram also. So through that we are reaching easily again. And from there they are get the idea and they are get the material. So this way we are just unlocking this EDP program. And one more constraint like we have in Tamil Nadu, what happened initially.
Yeah. Thank you, sir, for running us through your experience for EDP 1, 2, and 3. Like some points highlighted by you include like product diversification and reaching bigger customers is why initially we really started the program to ensure that the enterprises who are looking to actually diversify their product portfolio, increase their reach, or scale it in new region, will always need a little bit of support to establish themselves in the region. So, coming back to what you have said, could you just also elaborate on the overall digital marketing process that you have followed? Because largely, right now, because a lot of leads are getting generated through the social media, through Google field. So, how does an enterprise convert these, and how does the process look like for conversion of these leads? If you could just tell us. I think Mr. Kumaresan has just exited the chat. I think we can open up first a bit of Q&A. So please feel free to put your questions in the chat, or raise your hands if you have some questions that you want to ask. Yeah, I think we have few. So, do we have any questions? Does anybody want to ask any questions? Okay, I guess there is no question right now from any of the participants. But anyhow, please define climate smart in this context. So climate smart is largely any technology that is energy efficient, that uses clean energy as its source of energy, and is looking and is not generally diesel powered, or is looking at working with small farmers, rural micro enterprises in terms of post harvest, which is more green. Need to engage ecosystem actors. This is largely ecosystem actors, and I think firstly you have to like map out who are your stakeholders, and then so directly reach out to them, reach out to networks to understand what kind of scope of work they do and how do they do it, what are their roles and responsibilities. Yes. Think those who are not rated under EDP, can they fill the form? Yes, definitely. All of you, who have worked with us, or who have not worked with us, are eligible and open to fill the form. We truly welcome you to fill our forms and be a part of our program. Any other questions? I think there is one question where there is somebody who wants to. And can you type the question, Vasant? Much thing, because we are not able to unmute you for some reason. Yeah, geography. So the geography is pan India, limited to India, not outside India. Whether the proposal is to be received from a trust NGO, FPO directly, no. We are looking at enterprises who are primarily working and into hardware technologies, IoT-based digital solutions that can be scaled and innovated. So no NGOs, no trust, no FPOs. Just an enterprise. It can be a startup, it can be MSME, it can be anything but not NGOs, trust and FPOs. I mean, is program defined by is defined by the program, or can the geography that you would want to wish for can be defined by the enterprise itself. What can follow up as questions is like the choice of geography, the reasons for selection of the geography, and within that maybe like a special end user focus that you want to focus on, the reasons for those. Any other questions? Yeah. So I think we'll have to put a hard stop into this session right now, but if there's anything that you need clarification on, is the turnover limit? Yes, there is right now no turnover limit while filling the form, but you will be expected to upload your turnover certificate just as a legal document that we ask. Yes, okay. Uh, Thank you, everybody. I think right now we are running out of time, and for any question related to for the initiative, please feel free to reach out to us. And yes, so sorry for the interruption, but yeah, I think yeah, that's all. So if there's anything, please feel free to reach out anytime to us. Thank you all for joining. I think it's a wonderful session to have you all here. Thank you so much. We all look forward to working with you. Thank you so much.